I'm staying with Aunt Sally. But you know she's not really my Ann. I also learned for the first time, just in researching this video, that that line about Aunt Sally may in fact be a reference to Huckleberry Finn, the great American novel. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Deciphering Dylan. You know, the last couple times out, I've been doing the longer final songs on a couple of his more recent albums. I did the Highlands from Time Out of Mind. I did Ain't Talkin' from Modern Times. So I thought, well, maybe I should do the final cut from Love and Theft, the album that came in between those two. Came out on September 11th, 2001. I think we all remember that day. I think it may be Bob's best album of the 21st century. I've already done two songs from it. High Water, which I thought pretty much predicted 9/11. I thought that was an amazing coincidence that that song came out on that day. And of course, Mississippi, which I really think may be his best song of the 21st century. It's certainly in the running. This year, in about 7 months, we will be celebrating the 25th anniversary of this album. I'm pretty sure I purchased it quite early on, loaded it on my iPhone when that became available a few years later. So I've been listening to this album in continuous rotation for about 20 years. And the way I operate is that I have a Dylan playlist where I have all my Dylan songs. And I frequently will just listen to that. It randomly cycles through the songs. Oftentimes when I do that, a song will jump out at me. Oh my God, this is a song I need to do. And I think Sugar Baby is in that category. I think it's time. I did create a lyric video, so we'll be talking about the lyrics quite a bit. I got my back to the sun, 'cause the light is too intense. I can't see what everybody in the world is up against. Can't turn back, you can't come back. Sometimes we push too far. One day you'll open up your eyes and you'll see where we are. So that was the first verse of 5, and we're about to go into the chorus. But before we do that, as I say, I've been listening to the song for 20 years, but in preparation for this video, I read an article by Tony Atwood from the Untold Dylan, and it was the first time I was even aware that this song was based on an old song called Down the Lonesome Road, which is actually almost 100 years old. It was written for a Broadway play in 1927. Bob, of course, is probably one of the greatest students of American popular song there is. He's written books about it. He studied it. He knows more than practically anybody. He's performed in so many different genres. This song, melody and music, is pretty much lifted directly from the Lonesome Road song. And this last line that we just heard, sooner or later you're going to look and see where we are, echoes the main idea of Lonesome Road. It says, look down that lonesome road before you say goodbye. So in other words, you may go down that lonesome road, but you may wake up someday and realize that you're not where you thought you were going to be, and maybe you shouldn't have gone down that lonesome road. The singing is just exquisite on this song. It's very slow. Sometimes he draws those notes out beautifully. It's just a masterpiece. Sugar baby, get on down the road. You ain't got no brains to hide. You went years without me, might as well keep going now. A little bit reminiscent of some earlier songs where Bob makes fun of his former lovers and says they don't have any brains. I'm thinking, of course, of the song I can't remember naturally. And then the idea that you got along quite well for many years before you ever met me, so I guess you can keep doing that. That's him talking to himself about the situation. He's not happy that that relationship ended. He's kind of justifying, well, you know, you got along without me before, so what's the difference? I think some of us have been in that situation and taken some solace in that thought.
Some of these bootleggers, they make pretty good stuff. Plenty of places to hide things here if you wanna hide them bad enough. I'm staying with Aunt Sally, but you know she's not really my aunt. Some of these memories you can learn to live with, and some of them you can't.
What a heartbreaking verse there. I also learned for the first time, just in researching this video, that that line about Aunt Sally may, in fact, be a reference to Huckleberry Finn, the great American novel. Because in that novel, the lead character, Huck, presents himself to his friend Tom Sawyer's Aunt Sally and passes himself off as Tom. And Aunt Sally, I guess, either doesn't see very well or hasn't seen Tom in a while, and she doesn't realize that not really Huck's aunt. So it's kind of a funny reference if that's what he intended. Without knowing that background, I always thought that he was implying a relationship with Aunt Sally, that he was supposedly living with his Aunt Sally, but in fact they were lovers. But either way, it's a great line.
Sugar baby, get on down the line, you ain't got no brains, no how. You went years without me, you might as well keep going now. The ladies down in Ducktown, they do the Ducktown strut. You always got to be prepared, but you never know for what. There ain't no limit to the amount of trouble women bring. Love is pleasing, love is teasing, love not an evil thing.
What a great series of lines in there. He says, there ain't no limit to the amount of trouble that a woman can bring. Well, most men have experienced that. In fact, my friend says, women, you can't live with them and you can't kill them. Love is not a bad thing when it's working, but when it stops working, it can be a very hurting thing.
Sugar baby, get on down the road, you ain't got no brains, no how. You went years without me, might as well keep going now.
I did finally remember the song that I had in mind. Idiot Wind, of course, when he talks about, actually, I believe that references to his soon-to-be ex-wife, that she didn't have any brains either. So that's a common tactic by Bob to denigrate his exes.
Every moment of existence seems like some dirty trick. Happiness can come suddenly and leave just as quick. Any minute of the day, the bubble could burst. someone, sometimes you just end up making 1,000 times worse.
I mean, these words are just sheer poetry. You could take the song away and just publish this as a poem. At any moment, the bubble could burst. Things can go south in a hurry. I think because he's singing at such a slow pace and the song is long, it's actually hard to remember all the words from the beginning of each particular verse because it was a minute ago when he said them, and my mind is not as sharp as it used to be. This is an example of something I pointed out before, Bob's ability to cram a bunch of words and syllables into a small musical space. And here he says, sometimes you try to make things better and you make it 1,000 times worse, but the whole thought is spread out over about 15 or 20 words that he crams together really quickly. And I don't really know anyone that can do that like Bob. That's a special superpower that he has.
Sugar baby, get on down the road. You ain't got no brains, no how. You went years without me, might as well keep going now. Your charms have broken many a heart, and mine is surely one. You got a way of tearing a world apart. Love, see what you've done. Just as sure as we're living, just as sure as you're born.
You see how he stretched that word born out? He does it once in each verse, but I wanted to comment on how he can hold that note. This is singing. I know people say Bob can't sing, but this is singing, folks. Pay attention.
Look up, see your maker, for Gabriel blues his horn.
And those two lines there are lifted directly from the original Lonesome Road song, look up, see your maker, before Gabriel blows his horn. So he's really paying homage to that old song that he stole the melody and the music from, and he stole a couple lines from. I say steal. It's really in the nature of an homage to early American music that he's celebrating by making it modern, by including his beautifully crafted poetic feelings into the framework of an old song. So I don't accuse Bob of doing anything untoward here. I believe that he's adding so much to an old song, and he's done that before. I've heard it said that everyone steals and great artists steal the most, so he's certainly a great artist.
Sugar baby, get on down the line. You ain't got no sense, no how. You went years without me, might as well keep going down.
What a beautiful song. The slow pace of it and the instrumental part of it, it reminds me a lot of Murder Most Foul, a similar feeling floating through time and looking back. Bob is the master of lost love. I guess he lost a lot of love in his life, but he's been there, he knows it, and he can tell you about it. And that idea in the previous verse, your charms have broken many a heart, and mine for sure was one of those, and you have an ability to tear the world apart. That's hard truth, man. The way it happens a lot of times. Bob doesn't hold anything back. This is another one of his great songs. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little more about it.